Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher and Aman Pillay to talk about Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, after two defeats, we're back on track. Europe, the dream is alive, people. It's still there. We're hanging on by a thread, and we will be talking about all of that after this. Okay, so we were back at Villa Park. Yes, coming off two defeats. Villa really needed a victory in this one to get back in that European race, and we got that. But before we get into the match, I just want to thank you all for all your comments, views, subscriptions, and everything. Please keep them coming if you haven't already. And Noah, you wanted to highlight a couple of comments from the last video? Go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously make sure you guys are following us on the socials as well. All the links are at the top of the channel: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, all up there. Go drop us a like and a follow on there. Put a comment saying you come from YouTube as well. Let us know. Why not? But a couple of comments. Obviously, Jeff Lewis said loves to listen to our breakdowns, and he's from Birmingham. So thanks very much, Lewis.
Cheers, Jeff.
For joining. Cheers, Jeff from FIFA. And then Danny as well. So said, nice podcast, guys. Love to see Villains Down Under. Love the matches so much. Wants to see some different type of content next season, like match previews and transfer news. So thanks everyone for the support of the whole season, really. The channel's growing so much, and we love doing the podcast for you guys.
That's it. Yeah, thanks so much. And we will be doing a lot of transfer news and other things over the off season. So make sure you keep an eye on YouTube and make sure you hit that notification bell, and you'll be told every time we drop a video. And before we get into the match review itself, there was a couple of news items. There was one that we didn't touch on last week, Aman. That was that Villa have nabbed Barcelona's sporting director, Matu Almweni, I think is his name. But he comes with a very high sort of prestige, a lot of a good reputation. And the Barcelona fans seem to think that this is a big loss for them. So, yeah, what were your thoughts on that acquisition?
I think when I first saw it, my mind went to worry because you sort of, when you hear Barcelona, you think about everything that's gone on in the last 24 months or prior to this season. Like, they're obviously having a good season this year. They're going to win La Liga, running away with it. But no, he's the guy that's sort of come in after the mess and helped them sort of clean it up and sign a lot of strong players. And I think it's we're obviously a club with big stature, and we're now starting to show we're attracting guys that are sporting directors from Barcelona. So I think it'd only be a good thing. So hopefully it lets us keep continuing to attract those sort of big players like those Boubacar Kamaras that we got at the start of this season. I did see something this morning that said he's promised Laporta that we won't touch any Barcelona players. That was only a day after seeing us linked to is it Fernand Torres?
Yeah. Right.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I'm sure with the money we have and the money that Barcelona do need, there potentially could be some deals in there. But I just think it would just help us in the La Liga market and just in the global market as well. He's obviously someone that's, well respected, has a lot of contacts, shows we're going in the right direction to keep competing with those, top six clubs that are there. Yeah, to that Newcastle now as well. And even Brighton, who have made like some, they've already confirmed 3 players for the start of next season. So I think it's good to always, beef up the backroom staff as well as like your playing team as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you with the La Liga links. I think that will help us with that market. And you can imagine that's a market that Unai Emerys is going to want to tap into. Also, maybe we could pick up an Ansu Fati or somewhere like that from Barcelona, someone who's on the outs a little bit, but it got plenty of potential. And, like you said, we've got the money. They need the money, Barcelona. So why couldn't there be a deal or two there? But he has, brought in some good players for Barcelona. There was the same concerns that you had about, the financial stuff. But like you said, he came a little bit after that when Laporta came in, and not the Bartomeu, I think it was the former president of Barcelona that sort of got them into this mess. But the other one, Noel, was the other big news this week was Unai Emery winning manager of the month for April. Great month we had there. We just the one defeat at Man United and 4 wins, was it? Who were the other wins against? Go take us through it.
So we started off with a 2-0 win against Chelsea away, which was sensational. Then a few days later, the last-minute winner by Bertrand Traore beat Leicester 2-1 at the King Power. Then we beat Forest 2-0, Newcastle 3-0, a 1-1 draw with Brentford. We beat Fulham 1-0, and then obviously the loss a couple of weeks ago to Manchester United. So an incredible month, and the last manager to do it was Dean Smith, and I think that says it's the 5th manager, Aston Villa manager, to win the Premier League Manager of the Month. So congratulations to Unai Emery.
That's it's a big feather in his cap and fully deserved. Aman, it was a great month, and it's put us in this position we're in now, where we can still possibly qualify for a European place. And it was so good to see him, after the 2 defeats, sort of bounce back this week as well with the win against Tottenham, and it just shows that we are going in that right direction.
Yeah, I think last time I was on, I was claiming we were going to make 4th spot Champions League, but with the form we're in, I fully back the boys. Obviously, I think not having the depth sort of hurt us towards the end of the month, but it was a great month. Obviously, I think that win against Chelsea, was a big win, statement win, and then the 3-0 against Newcastle, what a result! It was a great win as well. And yeah, Emery, despite the losses, looking fresh trim, kind of what I'm needing right now at the moment. looking $1 million. And I think he's probably buzzing for he would be buzzing for these last 3 games, that we have all to play for, playing for European spot, as you said, just beat Tottenham now. So it's Arsenal Brighton tonight for us guys here in Australia, which will be a huge game. The very, very huge game. Brighton got some, games in hand, obviously, but very tough games in hand. So, yeah, I think it's going to come down to the last day. And I think Emery's buzzing for these last 3 games, but I bet you he's probably buzzing for the off-season as well. He's going to have a full pre-season to work with the squad. As we sort of spoke about before, full pre-season to work with some new signings that he probably wants to get his hands on. I'm sure, I think I heard something in another podcast that he kind of didn't want to make too many signings in January. He only wanted the 1 or 2, and we did sign Moreno and Duran, just to see who in this squad he could actually work with. Yep. I think he's probably seen enough to know which players he probably want to ship out to another club or give out on loan, and which players he wants to keep, and we can push on next season.
Yep, absolutely. And all right, well, let's get into the game, because it was a huge match. I felt a few butterflies before this one. I got to say, I was a little bit nervous because I knew, potentially this could be the end of our season if we, copped a bad defeat here. But it was far from that, Noah. We came out of the blocks, really well, on the front foot, creating chances, keeping the ball, lots of possession, and we got that first goal 8 minutes in, Jacob Ramsey.
And what a start it was, Scott. I mean, I know Leon Bailey cops a lot of criticism for the way he plays his football. I guess a really one-footed player, a lot of people would call him. But something he's worked on this season has been that cross on the right foot. And I think that's maybe the 3rd assist he's got on that right foot this season. I can think of the one against Bournemouth to Douglas Luiz. He got the assist. But we've seen that so many times this season. It's a play I thought that teams might know we like to do, skin out to the wing and then just put a low cross in, and hopefully one of the midfielders running onto it. And that was Jacob Ramsey, and gets his 5th goal of the season.
Yeah, and that was the only change from last week was Bailey coming in for Traore. So great to see him make an impact with that early assist. And that first half of was really just one-way traffic. Spurs, I don't think, had a shot on target all half. Of course, I guess the sort of the one sort of image that I guess will go down with this match is the linesman with his flag up. They obviously had a lot of offsides. We were playing this high line, and it worked pretty much all day. There was probably only 1 or 2 occasions where Spurs broke that offside trap, and they got offside, I think, 10 times in the whole match. So you got to give the defense credit for that.
Yeah, I think we sort of played similar against Man United, but just maybe got a bit found out, or like players like Rashford and Bruno were a bit smarter than guys like Son, Kane, and Richarlison. So I think it's testament to Emery and our squad. He's obviously very confident that he wants to play the players up high and put pressure on the opposition team. Dominant performance. Just I don't know, like Spurs. Just I don't know if we were really good or Spurs were just really bad. I think it's a bit of both. Like just watching Tottenham, they just look like they're just hanging for the off season. Like they don't care if they make Europe or not. I think it was a dominant. Despite them being bad, we played really well. Yeah, John McGinn spinning players, spinning Harry Kane a couple of times as well. I think having Bailey in the squad gives us like a what's the word? Something different in the team besides playing like McGinn in that role and having Ramsey on doing the same thing on the left. Just gives us that sort of one player that sort of just wants to run and just get to the byline and cross it type of thing like that. So it's something different to have. But yeah, dominant performance. Should have been more than 1-0 up going into half time. Once I saw the first half, I was fairly confident that we were going to run away with it and get the 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. And it could have been more than 1.5 time. Buendia hit the bar with a nice effort on his left foot that just unfortunately just clipped the bar. We had other opportunities too. Ollie Watkins was a menace. But going back to what Aman was saying, McGinn, Louise in that middle of midfield, keeping the ball, just being confident, playing that extra pass. So we just have transformed the whole team since Emery's come, especially in that possession frame of mind that we get into, where we just keep the ball. We're so calm, and in games like this, it works so well for us.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it, Scott? I don't know. Tottenham really didn't offer much. They really didn't offer much at all, especially in that first half. I know they kind of had that passage of play at the end where they got the penalty and then, had a few opportunities late. But, the first half, which is, I've never seen us dominate a half like that. I'm not sure what the possession stats were at half time, but Tottenham they just wouldn't press us. They just let us play with the ball as much as we really wanted. And when they did press, we kind of worked our way through, passing out to Young and then went to Bailey. And then we finally got in the box. And the one chance I was wishing Bailey would have scored was that one on his left foot. He just didn't quite get enough power on it. He just kind of scuffed it straight to Forster. But
yep.
Yeah, the way we're playing, I can't believe it's still the same season Gerrard was manager. I keep looking back on it. I still can't quite believe that it's the same group of players and the way we're playing. And we're literally, if we have 2 more good performances, Europe is a really high possibility.
Definitely. For Spurs, it came out in the week that Julian Nagelsmann actually turned them down. He does not want to be their coach for a number of reasons. I think what's going on behind the scenes, will Harry Kane be there at the end of the year? All that sort of speculation has turned him off. So maybe, they're sort of crossing their fingers to see and trying to go through their documents to see who they can possibly bring in next season. And maybe that's affecting the players, this sort of uncertainty. But, we don't care. We just wanted the 3 points. That's what we got. And like you said, Noah, in the second half, look, Spurs did have a good period in that last sort of 20 minutes, but I guess that was always going to happen. They were always going to have to throw the kitchen sink at us. But we got the second goal, Aman, Douglas Luiz with the free kick. It wasn't the most beautiful free kick ever. Maybe Forster feels like he could have got a bit of a stronger hand to it, but it had a lot of pace on it. It was relatively in the corner, and it was a crucial goal just to get that second goal and that comfort going into the last period of the game.
Yeah, I think exactly what you just said just gives that extra cushion, to see the game out. I think Luiz, just after halftime, I wouldn't say made a mistake, but just got pressured by Højbjerg in the one moment where Spurs actually decided to press. But Martinez came up big save from him. Seen some silly links about Martinez going to Tottenham or something like that in the week as well on social media. if he was to leave, which I don't think he will, but I doubt he'd go to a club like Tottenham. And in the position they're in at the moment, it would just make no sense at all.
Yeah.
But I think, the free kick, obviously there was the placement of the wall of the Villa players in front of the Tottenham wall, but I think, and I don't know if that affected the way where Foster standard. I think if he took even just a half a step or, to his left, he might have saved it or might have done a better job at saving it. But, I think it's just credit to Douglas Luiz. He's been working hard, playing well. I would have him as my player of the season. I think it's going to be really hard to pick a player of the season. I'm sure if we, asked all three of us here, we might have a different player each, but he'd be mine. I think it's just, credit to the season he's had after he signed his contract, and just like you said, Scott, it's amazing to think these are the same group of players that we had under Stevie G and how much we've changed. And, Louise was one of those players that was getting slated under Gerrard. A lot of fans saying, what does he offer? He doesn't have a place in the team. Good to see him grab a goal. I want to see Buendia grab a goal because I've seen him getting some criticism, rightly or wrongly. It's up to people to decide. But yeah, would love to see him get a goal before the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was, he was better in this game, Buendia, than maybe the previous couple of games where he was trying maybe a little bit too much and trying to force it. This game, he did a few nice things and he was unlucky again. But you're right, he does deserve a goal. He does put in so much, and you can never sort of criticize his work rate or his endeavor or some of the positions he gets into because his runs are great, but it's just that final ball, that final product, sometimes lets him down. But hopefully with a bit of confidence that can improve and he can finish off these last two games of the season well for us. I think Jacob Ramsey had a better game than he has for a while. He's been a bit quiet, but I thought he was great last night. And some of his run that he gives us, especially early, that first minute he got the ball and he took on the fullback, and he just has a he's got the skill as well as he can run quickly with the ball. Sometimes you get players that have one or the other, but he's got both, and I think he's just going up and up. And I'm really looking forward to what he can be next season for us.
I think it's one thing that I love to see. I think Villa fans also love to see, especially when Grealish left, being a Villa fan playing in the senior team. Villa fans love seeing one of their own playing for him, and Jacob Ramsey's taken that role on, and he's just so unbelievable. The passion he has when he scores goals, even though last season I think he scored a few more goals. I think he might have, but he's playing a different role and he's actually adjusted to it quite well and quite quickly, as well as how as other players have under the Emery system. But as you said, Scott, the way he dribbles with the ball, it looks like he gains pace. And that's such a skill that not many players have. I know Grealish kind of had that same skill as well, but he could go a long way, honestly. I really hope he gets an England call up soon because I think he does deserve it. I think he has earned it as well.
Yeah, and I heard that Aaron Ramsey got called up for the England under-20 World Cup squad, so that's coming up later this month, I think. So good luck to him, and he's another one that will be back in the mix next season, and it's going to be really interesting to see what Emery does with him because he's had a great season with Middlesbrough on loan. Same with Cameron Archer. They're in the playoffs. They're playing tonight against Coventry. It's Coventry tonight. So yeah, that's kicking off in in about 10 minutes time. So looking forward to watching that one and having Aaron Ramsey and Cameron Archer back amongst the squad next season. And if we get European Football, Conference League, Europa League, then he could really play a part in a competition like that. So looking forward, fingers crossed we can qualify first and then, I hope he gets an opportunity. But look, I wanted to talk about the defense because that back line has been so underrated. If you spoke to fans of other clubs and you said, Tyrone Mings, Ezri Konsa, Ashley Young, Moreno, they would probably all think that they're not very good players, or they would criticize them. And Tyrone Mings has had a rough time. in the past, even called out by his own manager, Steven Gerrard, at one point for not being good enough, this sort of thing. So, the way that they've sort of knitted together, took on board what Emery has said, and you could just see it last night in the flatness of that back line. No one at any point, was out of that link, out of that chain. We were, in a perfect line, and we got them, pretty much every time offside because everyone was there together and everyone was doing their job. It's great to see them on.
Yeah, I don't know when the next international games are, but as Noah said, a fair few of our players should be getting England call-ups. And firstly, should be Tyrone Mings, then Ollie Watkins. And then, guys like Konsa and Ramsey should be getting picked as well. I would say Konsa has probably more of a case than Ramsey. But then, I don't know when the next Spanish international friendly is as well. But Alex Moreno, I don't know any other Spanish left backs or, don't watch enough of La Liga. But I'd probably say, maybe he's in the top 5 Spanish left backs. That could be a very big call. I'm not too sure. But who knows? He's playing well, is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, definitely.
The back four, I think, it's done amazing. I think with Carlos coming back, probably guys like Tyrone and Ezri might not switch off now because they're going to be looking off over their shoulder and be like, all right, if I have a bad moment in one game, I might not get picked the next game, which is a good thing. And, Ashley Young, how old is he? 67 years old or whatever it is like that, 38, gets me thinking I could, just get a bit disciplined, start training. I could make my Premier League debut at the age of 37. Doubt that's going to happen. But, it's just defense has been so good. And like Tyrone Mings, I'll gladly take the egg on my face. I was one of his biggest critics, on this podcast and over the years and stuff like that, proper criticizing him. But Emery's come in and sort of changed him. And like I said, he should be first name on the England team sheet, I reckon. He's so good.
He's given him confidence. He's given him confidence in terms of when he's on the ball. He's given him confidence in terms of these are the instructions. This is how we want to play. Do this and just do this. And that's all I want from you. It's simple. It's clear. And when you've got players all around you knowing their jobs and everyone's on the same page, then, the game becomes so much easier. I mean, I looked at Ezri Konsa last night, Noah, and I was watching how he was marking Harry Kane. And it was so interesting because he was passing him on to McGinn sometimes, but other times he was going all the way into midfield with him. And there was a couple of times where we got caught, lost the ball goes into Kane. That's their whole game plan. He drops deep and then the runners go past him and you think, if he gets a turn in here and he can pick a pass, we've seen that before. But Konsa was right up his ass, right there, wouldn't let him turn and made him play the ball backwards, and I was just thinking, well, that's just brains from him as a player. That's brains from Emery for a system. You say, if Kane goes, you go with him. Don't let him turn and get them on the counterattack. And I was so impressed with his game, but all of them. I can't pick out one of them because I think Martinez as well made that great save from Kane. It was just defensively such a solid performance.
It was kind of like an Aussie rule sort of look, Scott. It was kind of like a hard tag, as the term we use down here on Harry Kane, because as we've seen over recent years, Harry Kane's not only scoring a buttload of goals for Tottenham, but his assist numbers have been fantastic. And that's one thing he does. He always drops to even plays the over-the-top ball to Son, mainly Son anyway. Obviously, Richarlison hasn't had the best season for Tottenham. Bit of a waste of money, I think, in their supporters' eyes. But you got to stick with him because he only needs. Was it last year at the Tottenham ground? He almost scored from halfway or something. Caught us out off guard. He tried to lob Martinez from over halfway. Just had a bit of space and had a crack at it because that's all he needs. He needs a second. And obviously the one chance he had, Martinez read where he was going to go and saved it luckily because he doesn't need much. He's a class player. I think that he's probably stayed at Tottenham 2 seasons too long. I think that he's probably going to go this season. I think his contract, I think he's out of contract.
He's got one more year.
So I think they'll have to sell him. They want to get something for him. They're going to have to sell him. I'm not sure who they're going to sell him to. Probably end up being Man City or something. Again, they've seemed to have unlimited money somehow. But
Well, there's a big Norwegian in his way there
I
that I
know
think might. So I think maybe it's only United or maybe Chelsea, but
exactly. It's going to be
that's
interesting. It's going to be
yeah.
interesting. But
Newcastle.
I'll tell you what, Concer's back to his like better than his best when he was at Villa. Now
Mm.
he's a Rolls Royce, and I really think he needs to get in the international setup to improve because we saw when Tyrone Mings debuted for England in 2020 or 2019, he game went up a notch. And I think being around the best in the country is only going to make you even better. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what he needs. And I think even with, I know he's probably a little bit further away, but Jacob Ramsey again. I mean, if you're going to be learning with the best of the best in the country, it's only going to make you better as a player. And I
Yeah.
really hope a few of our boys can get that opportunity.
And I think that his contrast in style to Mings is so important for us too. Like he's more of a reader of the game, more of a position player, Aman Concert, whereas Mings is sort of strength, physicality, speed, and he's wins everything in the air. Mings, Concert is very much like a. He knows when to pressure, knows when to sit back, knows when to fill spaces. And I thought last night he was exceptional when he did that.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Tyrone's got some good athleticism, which I think helps him with that sort of potential tactical downside that he may have. Probably not as astute as Konza. He's able to sprint back and get into possessions and stuff like that. Positions, sorry, but I think with Konza, he's very good at reading the game. I think this playing out from the back suits him as well. He's so calm under pressure. He can play that 2 to 5 yard pass to Martinez, even if there's a number 9 in his back, and then peel off, get it again, and then play the apple to Ashley Young. So I think they both complement each other very, very well. And like Noah said, I think he should be picked for England. Like you see some of the other players that picked for England, and you think how don't like players like Ezri Konsa or any others, other centre backs that perform well at other clubs not get picked. But we're obviously Villa supporters, so we'll advocate for Konsa to get picked. And I think if he doesn't get picked, if I was him, I'd probably then start looking at just getting that international experience, whether that's playing for Nigeria or something like that. Because I think playing international football, it's like Noah said, it's only going to enhance your game. Obviously, first preference, would be him playing for England. But if he's got those links to Nigeria. I think there's something about him being
Portugal maybe as well. Yeah.
I'm not sure how true or if he can actually play for him. But yeah, he's just been a good player. Another could be another Smokey that could get player of the season or something like that as well. Going to be very hard to pick. And yeah, I don't think that back 4 or back 3, maybe Cash comes in for Young, but certainly don't think Mings and Konsa is going to change for the next 3 games unless, one of them makes a mistake against Liverpool or there's an injury.
Yeah, well, in our poll that we had up, Douglas Luiz won quite comfortably in the, it was Douglas Luiz, then Ollie Watkins, then Tyrone Mings, I think, in terms of percentages. So, it's been an interesting season as far as individual players. I think I agree with you that Luiz has been the most consistent over, the Steven Gerrard games and, the Emery games as well. And he probably deserves it in my eyes. But let's look forward quickly to Liverpool because we've got a big week in terms of watching other teams now. This was what we've got our 3 points in the bag. We need to, hope that Arsenal do us a favour tonight against Brighton. We've got Leicester playing Liverpool. We've got a few other results in midweek as well that we want to keep our eye on. And hopefully, if we can get something at Anfield, we can put ourselves in a position where we know if we beat Brighton that final day, we are in the Europa League or the Conference League. So what are your predictions for Anfield away next Saturday night?
I can jump in. Since Tommy's not here, I'll give a Tommy-like prediction and a repeat of the 7-2. I'm sure Tommy would say that, but my prediction is, I'll go with my head and go 1-1, a 1-1 draw.
Okay, Noah.
Yeah, I was going to go 1-1 as well. I think we spoke about this pre-podcast, Scott, that I think we're going to need 4 points.
Yeah.
I really think we're going to need 4 points, but I do think there's a cheeky chance we could win this game as well, because I finally found the stat I was looking for. Wouldn't be a podcast without a stat. How many offside against do you reckon we've got this season? This is since the 5th of November.
Oh, I think I know this, but I'll let Scott guess.
Oh, 50 odd?
No, higher than that.
Really?
92 offside against since the 5th of November. And I'll tell you what, this high line is going to have a big day out again against Liverpool. And I think it's going to be crucial to keep players like Darwin Nunez and Mo Salah and Jota offside. And I'm going to go 1-1, but a potential 2-1 snatch and grab sort of situation right at the end.
I'll say 2-2. That will keep us, alive. And, I think there'll be goals. If we can get a point, the results can go our way in the other matches, and we can just say we beat Brighton, we're in Europe. I think we'll all take that, and that'll be a very exciting finish of the season. So, thanks again for all watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a comment. Let us know how many points do you think we'll need from these last 2 games to make it into Europe. What are your predictions for Anfield away next week? And what do you want to see in these next 2 games? Any changes? Who are you liking? Who do you think possibly need a rest? And leave it all in the comment section. We read all your comments. We love them, and we will reply to them all. So thank you all again for another good week. Huge 3 points up the Villa, and we will see you next week. See you later.